Yo, what up, it's Austin. In this pod, we bring on a special guest to discuss all the trades done at the trade deadline. Hope you guys enjoy. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Floor Generals, the podcast where we try to get Danny Green on the show. With me, of course, is my co-host Ryan Hugh. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just very tired, but otherwise I'm good. You?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. And with us this week, we have a guest. He's our friend, longtime friend. We know him for let's say like 10 plus years. It's our friend Danny Green. How you doing, Danny?
I'm doing very well, man. Thank you. Oh wait, was I supposed to come on right now? Was that good?
That was good.
Yeah, that
That
was
was
great.
good,
That
Danny.
was
Don't
great.
worry,
It
Danny.
was
Don't
good,
worry. I know
Danny.
it's
Don't
a
worry,
long
Danny.
day. It's been a long
I've been trying
day.
to get on. I've been trying to get on the pod for a long time. That's why.
I know
You
it's a
know,
long
I,
waiting list. It's
Yeah.
okay. I mean, we did want to get LeBron on, but I mean, we had to settle, so we brought you on, so it's okay.
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, but sarcasm aside, this is our great friend Daune Fernandez. How you doing, Dawn?
Come on, Don.
Really? Oh,
Come
all
on,
right, all right.
Don. Come on,
Well, I'm doing
Don.
very well. Thanks. I'm doing excellent. I'm very excited to be here. Supposed to be here last week, but unfortunately couldn't. But you guys had a great show. I'm glad to cover the trade deadline today. I think that's what's our topic, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
and
that
before
is
we
our
get to
topic.
that, we want to introduce our guests in Florida journalist fashion. So, Don,
Mm.
I'm gonna ask you three questions, okay?
All right.
How did you get into basketball? What is your favorite team, and who is your favorite player?
Well, naturally, I got into basketball because of my height. I'm about 6'8", and generally people look up to me, and
Ah,
so I was
ah,
Okay.
always
ah.
looked at by the coaches to approach me to play basketball, even though my main sport was volleyball. So
Cat.
that's how I got into basketball. My favorite player growing up was Vince Carter. He was actually the one who got me, I guess, after the dunk competition in 2000. Everyone in Toronto was talking about the Raptors and what Vince did that special weekend. Um, and yeah, after that, I just became a huge Carter fan, huge Raptors fan, and been with them ever since. I forgot the third question, though, to be honest. What was the
Uh,
third question?
what was your favorite
Favorite
team?
team.
Oh, favorite team. Yeah, so because of Vince, I've loved the Raptors ever since 2000. I'm a closet Grizzlies fan as well.
Ooh,
Just
okay.
yeah, just I like what they've got going on right now. So it's sort of a bandwagon, but in the closet about that still. But I guess I'm out now. Yeah,
I
Okay.
mean, I mean, Grizzlies is a good team. They're up and coming, I think, but they're
yeah,
not like
exactly.
playoff bound yet. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's a good choice. I just want to ask, since that Vince Carter retired last year, what about your current favorite player?
Current favorite player. Current favorite player. Eh, I would just have to. I don't have.
I mean, you
Can't
can
think
go
of one
Austin
off the
Chang.
top of the bat. No, no, definitely not. No, that's not the route I'm going to take. I'll probably just go with overall, just because of who he is off the court and how he conducts himself. Not because he's in contention to be the GOAT, but I would go with LeBron. I would go with LeBron's my favorite player right now. Just because mainly of what he does, the stuff, me being a teacher, the stuff he does for the community outside, building schools and giving
Hmm.
back. That's why I would go with
Yeah,
LeBron. Go
yeah.
LeBron. Yeah, there's just no negative thing to say about him in the press, right? There's nothing.
You can't say bad stuff about because he's
Yeah, you
just
can't.
that highly regarded in the
Yeah,
media and by us fans as well. So that's a good.
yeah.
That's a good.
So
And you
that's
said
that
something
would
about
be.
being a teacher.
Yeah, that's
Six A
uh, that's my
teacher.
after my sports after my basketball career. I didn't get into D1 because I had to take other routes. I decided to become
Understandable.
a teacher. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
And
That's
it's funny. I'm assuming you're like a French teacher.
oh, why is that?
I don't know. It's like
Just get the vibe.
it just sounds like I might have had you in grade 11 or something. But
Might be
oh,
because like Tony Park. I used to be a big Tony Parker fan, so maybe that's the vibe you're getting.
oh, maybe maybe.
Yeah.
He low key looks like Tony Parker. Just low key.
Who's that? Me.
Oh, facts. Okay, so with that introduction to Don, I'm gonna quickly talk about our fast break news, which this week won't be that long, considering the trade deadline was the main focus all week. So very quickly, I'm just going to address rest in peace to NBA legend Elgin Baylor, who passed away sadly on Monday night or on Monday. Baylor averaged 27.4 points, 13.5 rebounds, and 4.3 assists a game. Playing 14 seasons in the NBA for the Lakers. He died at the age of 86 of natural causes. So prayers up to his family. And I'm going to start off our trade deadline grading with the Bulls getting Nikola Vucevic and Alfred Camino for from the Magic for Wendell Carter Jr., Otto Porter Jr., and 2 first-round picks. So Austin, let's have you started off. What is your grade on the trade?
All right, so I'm gonna open this up for the Magic, because each team has different kind of directions they want to go with their future. So with the Magic, it seems like they want to rebuild and start getting young and go this tank way like the Philadelphia 76ers did. So I give them a 9 out of 10. For Nikola Vucevic, he's kind of like an older player who didn't have much years left of this dominant prime. I'm expecting, and for them to get back to, the seventh overall pick and Wendell Carter Jr. in I think 2017 or 2018, Otto Porter Jr. who can offer some, I guess, some veteran leadership and some decent scoring, and then also 2 first round picks. I mean, that's a really good package to get back for Nikola Vucevic. So I gave them a 9 for this.
Okay, all right. John?
Um, well, I was told to come prepared with the grading scale, so I
Well,
actually
I
have
have a grading skill as
I,
well,
I
so
have mine listed from like letter grades,
yeah,
elementary school
I do
style.
too. I do
So
too. So
I actually gave, similar to I guess to Austin here, I gave them a letter grade of an A for the Magic. I thought they got a massive haul, getting to I think that's exactly what they were looking for, getting to pieces as well as the 2 picks. I think the picks were the main part of this deal.
yes,
I think they were both first rounders, right? They had to
yes.
be first rounders for an all star like Vucevic. And I think they just that was the best deal that they were going to get. I don't know whether anywhere else where they would have got a haul like this, um, getting 2 players as well as these picks. I'm not sure exactly what the Bulls are going for. Um, right now, they're out of the playoff picture. They're sitting in 10th. Are they aiming for the 8th seed? They haven't made the playoffs in like 4 years, so maybe that's their goal. I guess they're pushing for it. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting to watch Levine and Vucevic play together. Like I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
so for the Bulls, I would give them. I'm not really sure what they're looking at. Like because based on where they are right now in the standings, I'm not really sure what is. Obviously, they're going for the playoffs right now. So
Mhm.
I would give them a B plus because they did give away a lot. I know they got Vucevic and you said Al Farouk, was it? Al
Yeah, I
Farouk.
mean,
You can't forget Al Farouk. I mean, but yeah, I feel like 2 first rounders as well as two pieces like this. Although Otto Porter, his contract I looked it up is expiring soon, and he was unlikely. They're not going to keep him, so that's fine.
yeah.
But yeah, those were my grades that I would give.
Okay, so for me, I liked what Orlando did. I gave them an A plus because the rebuild they're starting should have started a long time ago. Ever since like to me like the Dwight Howard era ended, I think that should have happened. So A plus for Orlando for actually embracing the rebuild and getting the promising big in Wendell Carter and 2 first rounds. So that's a big win for them. And uh, I'm going to disagree with what Mr. Don said.
Yeah.
My bad, my bad.
Go
Uh,
ahead.
I'm giving Chicago an A because I think they're heading in the right direction if they want to keep their all star Zach Levine happy. Since I looked up the contract of Vucevic, he's actually not being overpaid. He's actually making around like 21 million, 22 million the next 2 seasons. I think uh, the Bulls will make some noise in the Eastern Conference the next 2 3 seasons if the both of them are playing at this high All Star level. I like what the Bulls are doing, so I think it's an A grade for me for Chicago.
I mean, Ron, do you really trust the Bulls to make good decisions?
I mean,
Of course
like
they have Vucevic, but like let's see what they're gonna do with marketing. I mean, once they get marketing off and whatever they do with marketing, kind of like shifts the franchise. Because if they keep marketing, then they can build him into a decent third option, I would think. But if they move marketing, that's gonna really determine what their future is gonna look like.
I mean, like if you move Markkinen, he's on a restricted, like he's restricted free agency. I think if you move him for like a big name, I don't know what name that could be, but if you move him for a big name, I think the Bulls would be an easy playoff team the next season or two, considering they have two All-Star talents already. They have developing guys in Patrick Williams. They have good veteran leadership and Garrett Temple and Thaddeus Young. The head coach Billy Donovan. I think they're heading in a good direction.
Yeah, and I just want to touch on Wendell Carter Jr. real quick. So across the season, he's been getting decent minutes, and once he's gone down and come back, he's kind of lost his starting role to Thaddeus Young, and ever since then, he's been only playing at about 20 minutes a game, and it seems like the Bulls kind of gave up on him. Now in the Magic, he's going to be their starting center. He's playing over, I think, Chuma Okiki or something, and I feel like he has a good chance to be one of the better centers in the Eastern Conference. I could see him averaging around 18, 11, and 6. Like I feel like he has a decent chance to be one of those playmaking bigs that can offer some shooting. Of course, his defense isn't the greatest, but I feel like that comes with time. And at some point, I can see Wendell being a very serviceable center for the Orlando Magic.
For sure, for sure. I just wish Mobamba can actually get minutes.
Well, I think this trade. I just think that the Magic definitely got the best deal here because they're solidifying the rebuild. They've got an established group of young players right now with Markel and once Jonathan Isaac. If he comes back the way he was playing before he got those injuries, as well as those 2 first-round picks. I mean, that. Like I said, I'm just gonna highlight those are the big. I don't think Nikola Vucevic is gonna be worth a first round, like 2 first-rounders next season. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's reached his peak. This is probably this is the best value you're gonna get for him at the right time. So that's why I'm just giving the Magic the best grade here, and the Bulls. I see what you're saying, Ryan, but I mean, are they gonna get past the first round is the question, right? Like making the playoffs is all fun and great until you get knocked out in like 4 games, right?
But isn't the goal for every young team is to at least make the playoffs? I think like a team like
for sure.
they want to get to the playoffs right now.
For sure. But your argument was like sort of like the Clippers and Kawhi, like, okay, we need to bring Paul George so we can keep Kawhi. Like Zach LaVine's gonna make his own decision. He's not gonna stick around because they showed that they were interested by bringing in Nikola. Like it's not enough for him. I don't think. Although he did tweet a bunch of like eye emojis and whatnot, all excited or something like that.
It's exciting to play with another All Star.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's what I'm giving the Bulls an A for that deal. So yeah.
You're an easy marker. That's good.
I'm not an easy marker. The next trade we're going to be talking about, I gave.
Wait, we didn't get to what Austin gave the Bulls because he only gave the Magic a 9 out of 10. What was your grade?
So,
Bulls?
Yeah. So you guys give him like letter grades, like it's elementary school. I give him, just straight numbers. So I gave him a 5 out of 10 for this grade. This is a 50.
Thank you. There you go.
Listen, by the time Vucevic kind of grows old, like I think those picks were 2023 and 2025. Like by the time it comes time for those picks to come to fruition, like they're not going to be a good team, the Bulls. I don't see them being a good team, and that just like means that you just gave up 2 first-round picks that are going to be valuable picks for like a few years of playoff contention. Like I don't see how the Bulls are going to really win this trade even in the future.
Just playoff contention, just getting in the playoffs. But anyways, I agree with you, Austin. Well done. A+ for you.
Even over my teacher, don't
what
talk
is
to
it,
me
5
like
out of
that.
10 for me? What is it, 5 out of 10 for me?
5 out of 10 for you.
Yeah, Ryan, you failed, dude. Come on, man.
Come on, mister.
All right.
All right, the next trade we're going to be covering, I gave this trade a really bad grade for the other side. It's the Evan Fournier trade. So once again, the Magic, they trade Evan Fournier to the Boston Celtics for Jeff Teague and 2 second-round picks. Thoughts?
You go ahead, Austin.
All right, so I think that the Magic could have got a bit more for Fournier. I just feel like scoring about. All right, I mean, what do you want? 2 first-round picks for Fournier too? Come on, like
I'm not saying
think
2 first rounds.
I think 1 first-round pick could have been it. But two second round picks for someone that can score 20 points a game, I just don't think that they tried with Fournier. They were so focused on Aaron Gordon, we gotta move him, we gotta move Nikola Vucevic, and then they were like, oh, we still have this French dude on our team, and they just kind of threw him away for nothing almost. So I feel happy for Boston fans that they actually got something instead of Danny Ainge pump faking again. But for the Magic, I think I gave him a 4 out of 10 for this one. This is just not it's not enough for someone like Fournier. And for Boston, I gave them an 8 out of 10. They're getting someone that can score over 16 points per game for basically nothing. You threw away Jeff Teague, who didn't really fit your system regardless.
Washed
So
up,
I
right?
he's not washed up. I just don't think it's not the right system, I guess. But for Boston, I gave him an 8 out of 10, and Orlando 4 out of 10.
I say Jeff Teague's kind of washed up. He hasn't been producing well, like in the box score or fantasy wise. I just don't
Fantasy.
see. I just don't see the point in. And plus, you have Peyton Pritchard and those guys playing really well for Boston. So they already have their backup point guard as of right now. So that's fine. That's fine. Of letting go of Jeff Teague, but then only 2 second round picks for Evan Fournier. Really, like a 20-point game scorer should go at least for one first and maybe a young guy. But
Yeah, the thing with that whole thing is that he's coming on an expiring contract, and the Celtics don't have the cap to like keep him. Right, they're already paying so much for Kemba, Tatum. What's the other one? Jalen Brown. They can't sign Evan Fournier after that. So like give away a first round for a rental. I mean, it would only have to like I don't even know what their book of draft picks are. Like I don't know if they have a first round to offer, but I think that was the main reason. Um, but I think the Celtics definitely want. I mean, obviously the Celtics want this
obviously
trade.
they won.
They
Obviously,
obviously want this trade. I was thinking that they would actually go and target like someone like a big power like Aaron Gordon or Harrison Barnes or someone like that. But getting this just I think it was important because we saw last season that they couldn't get it done with Smart running the point and Kemba's lingering injuries. We're not sure how well he's going to perform. So having this is just like this is huge for them. Like I think it's going to definitely open up space for all their wings.
yeah.
And
So
yeah, I just feel like the Magic they got ripped off here. Like they definitely could have gotten like you guys said, they definitely could have gotten one first rounder, maybe to a team that could have afforded to keep Fournier after, maybe as but yeah, I gave the Magic an F, a failing grade.
I give it an
That's
F as well. Give him an
yeah.
F as well.
That means Austin. That means like below 5 out of 10, and the Celtics an A for sure.
I give him an A as well, just
Definitely.
because it's 2 second rounds for a 20-point guy.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
no logic. There's no logic behind it whatsoever in my mind.
Yeah, but like I probably did come down to what Austin said. I don't know at what point of the day this trade came in. I can't. I wasn't following
This is
minute by minute.
11:29 a.m.
Oh, 11:29. So is this before the Aaron Gordon trade?
This was
Yeah, it's
before,
before.
but this was after the Nikola Vucevic trade, which
Yeah, just
Okay.
after. Yeah,
They might have been coming off a high or something. I don't know.
probably they're
They
like, oh,
were.
let's get rid of this guy too.
they're
We
like
got we
their finger slipped or something on the like.
They're like, we got 2 first rounders. We'll pick up another 2 second rounders. They're gonna go with the OKC approach or something like that. Just stock up.
OKC has 34 draft picks for the next 7 years. That's like enough to draft my kids or something.
Yeah.
Draft Ethan.
Draft my brother. Yeah, draft my brother. What?
Oh man, that's
Catching Ethan wearing like number 23 with the Thunder or something. The next Kevin Durant, the Asian Kevin Durant.
Asian Kevin Durant. Let's go.
All right. So one last final Magic trade. The Nuggets get Aaron Gordon and Gary Clark, whereas the Magic get Gary Harris, R.J. Hampton, and 2025 protected first rounder pick. Don, let's start off with you this time.
Yeah. This was a big trade for the Nuggets. This was huge. I know they picked up JaVale as well to get some size, but Aaron Gordon is the size that they need just to, defend the bigs that they might have to get through going through both LA teams. Like Aaron Gordon, someone that you could put on. I don't know. He's a good defender. I know he plays both ends. Aaron Gordon could definitely not lock down Kawhi, but either like give him or Paul George some trouble. And we definitely need size. What's his name? Jokic definitely needs some help with like the size that LA is going to throw at him. We saw that last season. last playoffs. Exactly.
Yep.
They definitely needed something, and I think this addressed it. I definitely give the Nuggets an A for this because it's a big move that shows that they're serious and that they're looking to come out of the West. I'm surprised though that the Magic didn't get a better return for Aaron Gordon.
I was thinking like
Um,
Bobo or something.
whoa.
I was
Bobo
I
is
was
like
thinking Bobo could have been part of the deal, but that was just me.
Bobo is like I know we're talking about Ethan's gonna be like the Asian Kevin Durant. Bobo's like the Kevin Durant that we just don't know about yet, or like the world doesn't know. It's like the Taco Fall that
Oh,
Actually, never mind. I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know where I was going with that
Bruno
one.
Bruno Caboclo.
I just had to shout out to
He's the
Greg there.
Brazilian.
Shout out to Greg for Taco. But anyways, yeah, like obviously the Magic are totally going to rebuild mode, and I just expected more. I know they got a first rounder for Aaron Gordon, but because that one is a protected pick, from my
We don't
knowledge,
know. Yeah, we don't know if they're going to actually get it. If they
yeah.
have
How
someone.
does that work exactly? Like, what does that mean? It's a protected pick, so being a player, I'm not so in the lingo of the GM, the management side. What is a protected pick? Explain it to our audience here. Like, what does it mean by the Magic may not get this pick? Because if that's the case, then they got robbed, and I'm going to change my letter grade from a C to a D. Um, because if they don't get this first round pick, it's useless. I feel right.
Basically, a protection means if this pick falls within a certain range. They didn't specify what range, at least to
Mm-hmm.
my knowledge. But let's say this pick is protected from top 10 protected. So if the pick were to fall within 1 to 10, I believe Denver is allowed to keep the pick, whereas if it falls anywhere from 11th to 30th, Orlando gets to keep the pick. Austin,
Okay,
Austin, did I get that right?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
All right.
so they just get to keep the pick, and nothing can happen about that. Like they don't get
Yeah.
any compensation. Oh, that's a rip then. Well, I mean, I don't expect the pick to be protected anyway because I mean Denver's going to be a good team for a long time.
Hmm.
So that pick is not going to be worth much, provided they keep going far in the playoffs. And as long as they make the playoffs, that pick's always going to be, I imagine, below 15, right? So
I mean, who knows? I think the Warriors were always expected to be a playoff team until not the Steph Curry injury last season, as well as Draymond and Clay, and they
oh,
suddenly got
that's
the
true.
second pick.
Right,
So,
that's true.
so
Good
we
point.
never know in the league, when this pick might become like the
But
first
then,
overall pick.
but the fact that again that it's protected shows that the Magic didn't get. I don't
The
think they
best
got
deal,
Aaron
the best deal out of it, and
Yeah.
we don't know
Oh,
what RJ Hampton is capable of yet. He's largely an unknown in my mind.
yeah.
Hmm.
Agreed.
No,
Agreed.
I think I've seen a bit of RJ, and I like his game. In the limited minutes he's gotten, he's been able to put up stats across the board. He's been getting assists, rebounds, and he's shown decent scoring ability back when he played in college. I feel like this is actually a decent enough return for Aaron Gordon. Of course, after the Vucevic trade, we gave him a good grade, and now it's kind of fallen off a bit. I still gave him a 7 out of 10 just because it's a first round pick, and you're still getting a young prospect who was drafted, who was projected to be drafted in the first round. So I feel like they actually got a decent return off of this. And of course, Denver, they seen Paul Millsap getting old. They lost Jeremy Grant last offseason. So for
Hmm.
them to get someone that can fill that void, like Aaron Gordon, I think that's also a pretty decent, you know, player that they kind of need. Not even someone that they can just use like Evan Fournier for the Celtics. This is someone that they need. So I give them an 8 out of 10, and I think both sides kind of won this trade in a way.
A little bit, a little bit. I gave Denver an A minus because I'm just very worried of how much Aaron Gordon's PT will cut into MPJ's, considering they both play similar positions. And unless the Nuggets choose to go small ball for like half the game, I just don't see MPJ getting as many minutes anymore with an established guy in Aaron Gordon getting most of the minutes just for like a deep playoff push. And then you also have Orlando. I gave a B just because Gary Harris still has some potential because he has shown it in Denver. He's just fallen off. Maybe he just needs a different change in scenery. And I'm predicting the pick will fall for the Magic, so they will get it. And RJ Hampton, even though he's an unknown, I think he can do something with Fultz and Cole Anthony sometime soon.
Yeah, you would bring some good points. That's true. That's true.
So yeah, those are my thoughts. Those are my grades. Don.
Yeah, no, I definitely like my thing is just because the Magic are like I said they're the new OKC draft stocking up on these picks that it's very important that they do actually acquire these to be used. Now, can you trade a protected pick? You can, right?
I
Could they use
don't.
this first rounder and parlay it, like trade it to I don't know the Raptors for Kyle Lowry or something?
Probably not.
Just,
No.
just
I,
no, you
so,
can't. Okay,
no, I
because
just
I
don't
mean,
think you
you
can.
need these assets, and that's all. The Magic are definitely going to be a team in the future, like say 4 or 5 years. I could see them definitely making some noise in
Yeah,
the East.
4 or 5
But of
years.
course, it's with the thing with these trades, especially on trade deadline days, like you don't necessarily know who the winner is right away. You have to wait a couple of
Yeah,
years sometimes. But
yeah,
definitely the Nuggets definitely made some noise by picking up Aaron Gordon.
yeah, for
So
sure. All right. I think we're done with Orlando. So I'm gonna move on to the other team in Florida, which is the Miami Heat. And the Heat acquired for their first trade. They acquired Bielitsa from the Kings for Maurice Harkless and Chris Silva. So it's not that big of a deal for other people, but to me, I think this is a very big move for the Heat.
yeah, I didn't follow this trade at all. So Austin, this is all you.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I'm kind of in the other side for this. I feel like Miami, like Beasley says, yeah, he's a good shooter, but at the same time, he's a garbage defender, and I just don't think you can afford to lose defense in the playoffs, even if it's someone like Bielitsa, who, yeah, he's a good shooter. He isn't knocked down per se. So I feel like Miami kind of lost a bit. Mo Harkless, I feel
Wow,
like,
really?
listen, Mo Harkless has been pretty trash this season. I can say that. But I think in the playoffs, he would still turn around. He's one of these Trevor Ariza type guys. And then they also gave up Chris Silva, who was one of their promising young bigs, who I think that could also make a big difference in the playoffs if you put him, I guess, at the four. Bielitsa, I don't think he's worth a young prospect and a 3-and-D wing. I just don't think that he kind of looked this one through enough. So I give the Heat a 5 out of 10 for this, and I gave Sacramento an 8 out of 10.
Ooh, an 8. Damn, that's pretty high,
It's the young
Austin.
prospect, man. Chris Silva, he's next up.
I don't know, man. The Jay Crowder thing, the Jay Crowder like move, kind of hurt Miami a bit. Even though he's no Jay Crowder,
I
Bielitsa
was like,
does.
you trying to replace him with Bielitsa?
Nah, 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 nah. I'm not crazy. Bielitsa provides that 3 point scoring, and don't forget they still have Trevor Ariza and Andre Iguodala on the roster, which they are defensive minded like veterans now. So I don't see them losing out on this deal. I gave him a B+ because Bielitsa is just a very good shooter, and the Kings I gave a C+ because Mo Harkless is just there for salary, and I haven't seen Silva gets like 10 minutes a game, which isn't a big difference, even if you throw him in the playoffs.
Ryan, I mean,
I
come
just
on. They're gonna move Whiteside. Bagley's probably gone. He's gonna be their backup center.
You think so?
I
I
gotta
think
agree
that.
with us.
Yeah, yeah. Thank
You
you,
think
Don.
so?
For being. I mean, but come on, Ryan. Like, they're not gonna keep Whiteside. Bagley is pretty much like done. He's pretty bad, I guess, and he's injured all the time. I think Chris Silva's gonna be one of those guys that they want to develop. You don't think so,
uh,
Ryan? I mean, you think
nah, I don't.
Bielitsa?
I don't really
Okay,
think so.
dude.
I think Tyrese Halliburton and I think they're going to stick with Marvin Bagley. I
Really?
think those two are the. Yeah, I really do
They're gonna
think
stick
so.
with someone who's injured half the season every time.
Steph Curry was very injury prone in his early days with
Well,
the Warriors,
No, and I
please do
but
not
see,
come.
look
Please,
bro.
look what
please
he
do
is
not.
now,
Dude,
right?
That is
dude.
not the
I know.
same at
Come
all,
on.
Ryan.
No, I'm just saying, look who he is now, though. Look who
You
Just
think
you
Bagley's gonna be
you don't.
Curry? Come
We
on.
don't know. Give it
no,
8 years,
Ryan.
7, 8 years, maybe. Watch Marvin Bagley become like a 32 point per game scorer.
7 years he's playing for the Ganzhou Tigers or something. He's playing like
That's
in
Yo, that's so
Greece.
dis. It's
playing
so
in the
dis.
he's playing in the big three. All right.
Yo,
So,
whatever. I'm moving on to 76ers.
oh, we're not sticking with the Heat.
I thought we were done.
What
How
about the
about
big trade
Oladipo?
they made? What about the big trade?
Oh,
Yeah.
we'll loop back to that one. We'll loop back to
Oh,
that one. I'm going in
Okay,
order. I'm going in order.
I see.
okay.
I'm going in order of like from the morning all the way to 3 p.m.
Wait,
Okay,
what? This
that's
is
the order.
definitely not the order.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Well,
Yes, it is.
no, he
We
covered all the Magic trades first, and then he jumped to
yeah,
Florida. And
Ryan's going from team
I thought he was
to
going to talk about the Raptors at that point, but he might
Nah,
have
the
yeah.
switched.
Raptors are after 76ers.
Or dude, Ryan, you know what? I got the order, but it's okay, man.
Fine,
You
you
know,
go
it's
ahead then.
you want to go from order? All right, dude. Let's go. Let's loop all the way back to 12:26 p.m. This is very late in the night,
You
Tuesday
mean
morning.
AM?
Uh, is it a.m.? No, I think this
If
is
it's
it
after
a.m.?
midnight, it's AM.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, it's a.m. It's 12:26
There you
a.m.
go.
Listen, I didn't have your class, so I'm not that smart of a person. So
It's
this
okay.
is the Detroit Pistons trading Corey Joseph and 2 second-round picks to the Sacramento Kings for DeLon Wright. So I mean, I'm the host now. So Ryan, what are your thoughts about this trade?
All right, so I do like it for the Kings because DeLon Wright, he's been a pretty good backup point guard for every team he's actually played for, from Toronto, Dallas, Memphis, and even the Pistons at times. He's been very consistent. He can be that six. He's not a six-man candidate, but he can be a very consistent leader for the second unit. And as Sacramento does attempt to make a playoff push, he'll be a big part of it and a good mentor for Tyrese Halliburton as well. For the Pistons, I just don't see Corey Joseph as that effective anymore. He's averaging like 6 point something points a game, like 6 points a game. Not that big of a difference. I think it's only the second rounds that really are worth it. So I gave Sacramento a B plus, and I gave the Pistons a B minus.
Yeah, I had similar grades on this. I gave Sacramento a B plus and just the Pistons a B. I think they're not equal caliber players by far. No, DeLon's definitely
Yeah,
the better player in this trade. And like you said, he's definitely going to be a good mentor. He's still young. He's still 28, so he could still be like that brother figure to Halliburton, or know how to connect with him, because he's not too many years out from being,
yeah,
one of the younger players in the league. Now, him going to SAC definitely will help them with a playoff run or a playoff push at least. And yeah, for the Pistons, just getting 2 second rounders as well as Corey Joseph. I mean, that's the best they were going to get for DeLon, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I just feel like this trade is it's kind of gone under the radar just because it's one of those simple trades that you know what each team wanted. The Kings wanted that backup guard, and Detroit wanted draft picks. So it was a simple trade for both teams. I gave them both a 7 out of 10. Any
fair.
closing
That's
thoughts on
fair.
this
That's
trade,
fair.
or do you want to move on?
It's not a game changer by any means. It's not anything blockbuster, but I think it does address each team's needs. Pistons need draft picks, and Sacramento needs playoff push. So works out.
Yeah. So
Good,
let's.
good, good Raptor pieces. Good ex Raptors.
Yeah, it's good. X Raptors.
It's crazy. Yeah,
It was like
Delon
a
Wright.
lot of ex Raptors are involved. Uh, Trade like
man,
on the trade deadline, I feel.
man, I'm
But
I
we'll
don't
get
want to
to it.
talk about I don't want to talk about the Raptors that long. We
You
should
want to talk
move
about
on.
the Raptors? You know what? Let's move on to
Oh,
let's move on to
Detroit.
12:46. We're going a bit ahead. So this is the Toronto Raptors trading
uh,
Norman Powell to the Portland Trailblazers for Gary Trent Jr. and Rodney Hood. Don, let's start with your thoughts about this trade.
Mhm. Love this trade for both teams. Um, Actually, just going on each team's Instagram accounts and looking at like the welcome posts that they created for both players. And then if you
the
go into
love,
the
the love.
you go into the comments and you see the love they have like on both sides, like Toronto fans going and saying, "Hey, take care of Powell," and Trailblazer fans saying, "You got a good one in Gary Trent." Like it showed that both teams lost something, but also gained something that they needed. Um, I think for the Raptors, we're addressing something about like the future, uh, sort of not really a rebuild, but sort of got like I don't know what this trade is for the Raptors really, except for the fact that it's going to it has some holes to fill in terms of like what was Powell averaging, like close to 20, right, a game.
Yes.
So where are those points going to come from? I'll tell you who that's going to come from. Do you guys want to know? Do you have any
Let's hear it.
guesses? Who's gonna make up these 20 points? Well, it's gonna be Ogugwa and Anobi. All right, that man is gonna have to take up this responsibility right now, and he's gonna have to use his body, get into the paint, do like all that grind work that Norm understood. Understand the grind. Understood the what
Understand the
was his
grind.
I see,
slogan?
I see, I
Understand the
see.
grind. Shout out to Norm.
Yeah.
So, Ogugwa is definitely going to have to break out right now and put up some numbers. And that's going to leave, like, Gary Trent, I believe he's a good shooter. Am I
He
wrong?
is.
Or am I
He
I
right?
is.
was
He is.
watching the game
He's gonna
earlier
be
today, and I loved what I was seeing from him.
okay. So, yeah. So, I believe, I think that from what I read, he just cooled down. He had a great, what was it, bubble and a great preseason.
Yes,
And, but
he
then, like,
did. Yeah.
okay. So what I read was right. He's going to be on the 3 point line, where Ogugwa was standing. And then he's going to knock those down while OG hopefully picks up Norman slack there. And I think for the Trailblazers, it's going to be a great pickup. Like, I think, will he be a starter?
Yes,
He was
he is
starting
already
today.
a starter. He's their starting small
He's
forward.
starting today. Oh, how's he
Um,
doing?
I am happy for him like that since he was limited to a bench role in Toronto, but now in Oregon, he can break out. He can score 30 a night
Oh, with
easy.
the geography.
Just
Oregon.
be Oregon, well, Portland, Oregon, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think okay, granted, I am very. This trade was the most emotional one for me because he Powell spent I think 5 seasons with us, and it's always tough to see someone go. Like I was so sad when they traded DeRozan. But getting Gary Trent in return, I think that was the big deal. That was like a huge deal for us because he's very promising considering what when CJ McCollum was out with injury, he was balling. He was filling in that void, right? For a bit at least. And
yeah.
Rodney Hood, he's not that good anymore, but his contract is waivable next season because it's non guaranteed. So
Mhm.
uh, we don't need to keep him on the roster, which means Gary Trent for Norman Powell. That's a great deal for us. I give it both an A minus.
Yeah, I would say the Raptors they wanted to go a bit younger, and I feel like Masai just did not want to pay Norman Powell $20+ million, which I mean if you traded Lowry you probably couldn't have done that, but since they kept him, I guess this worked out. And of course Norman Powell, he's the better player now. He might be still the better player in a few years. But if the Raptors want to go younger, Norman's I think 26, Gary Trent is 22, and he's still in his rookie year. He's 2 years left on his deal, and I know Don said he wants Ogugwa to kind of pick up the slack that Norman's going to leave, but I don't think he is. I think Gary Trent is going to be taking all the
Yep.
minutes and touches that Norman Powell had is going to be going to Gary Trent because frankly I've been a big OG fan, but I just don't think he's that guy, man. I just don't think he wants to be that guy. He's not aggressive. He doesn't really like to shoot the ball. He's just that 3-and-D guy, and I think we have to accept that. And maybe Gary Trent Jr. is going to be Norman Powell plus, but for now, I think both teams understood what they
No,
wanted.
I definitely agree with you. Like he's definitely doesn't seem like he wants to be that guy. But what I said is he's gonna have to be that guy because if he's not, then like all these Toronto Raptor fans are just gonna have to stop talking about how he's on the trajectory of having the same stat line as Kawhi of like both end for what's it called when you play both sides of the court, two-way player. There we go. Okay, like on the same trajectory of Kawhi, because like that's what I hear from my friend group. That like look at his stats and look at the way he plays and look at his demeanor. He's gonna be the next Kawhi for us. Well, no, we have to see it now. Now's his chance because I mean, flat out, we don't have. I'm not sure who's gonna fill those points. I don't think Gary's gonna be putting up 19 a game and shooting 50% and all this
Who
stuff.
knows?
Like what I
Who
like
knows?
about him, like you mentioned, is he's still on his rookie contract. He's gonna be restricted next year. Like we could. I like the fact that we got younger here, and we couldn't keep Norman. We just couldn't because, well, like you said, we kept Lowry. We don't know what's happening with Lowry in the offseason, so that's all up in the air as well. But I'm happy. I'm happy. Like anytime a Raptor goes to a place where he's gonna be able to contend for a championship and get minutes, why not? Like
For
Norman's
sure,
been
for
so
sure.
great for us
Yes.
for all these years. I'm very happy he's gonna get to play with like I'm just thinking he gets to play with Dame, he gets to play with McCollum and Carmelo. Like it's just like a different locker room there. It must be.
Yeah.
It's sounds like a good positive, good locker room. At times the Raptors locker room, in interviews it didn't sound so positive this time. Like they lost their swagger. Portland definitely a team that has their swagger. So with Dame for sure. I'm
Yes.
happy Norman's gonna.
I mean,
I sort of want to catch this game right now. I might pull it up on stream here.
I was watching it before, but listen, I mean, you said, about OG and the comparisons to Kawhi. I mean, listen, I'm comparing Gary Trent to Norman Powell. Of course, Norman Powell's averaging 20 points on really good efficiency, but, Gary Trent could be doing that in a few years. And, I think from now on, I'm going to be projecting Gary Trent to be Norman Powell.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, like what you said, Norman Powell might be the better player right now and in the next year, but definitely we've seen his ceiling, I feel, and we don't know what Gary's is yet.
because he's
Sure.
just so
So
much younger. So
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
good. That's good. Any more thoughts?
Do you want to talk about the Raptors trade that didn't happen, or are you done with talking about the Raptors, Ryan? It's too emotional for you.
Well, there's two more trades that the Raptors did that I didn't feel that much for,
Oh,
but
okay.
we can still cover
You
them.
didn't feel those ones? Okay, you know what?
I don't really feel those ones just because one of them didn't get that much playing time and the other one wasn't that consistent compared to last year.
You know what? I'll move on to the one that I'll move on to the second one you mentioned. So this is going to be 2:53 p.m. The Toronto Raptors traded Terrence Davis to the Sacramento Kings for 1 second round pick. So Ryan, this is one you mentioned that you didn't feel for because he wasn't consistent. So let's hear your explanation for this.
Well, last year we saw that Davis had the talent. He even made like I think the second team, the rookie all second team. But this season he struggled to get consistent minutes. Even Stanley Johnson was getting his minutes just because things just weren't working out with Toronto. And like towards the midway point of the season, I saw him like kind of balling out a bit more. He was doing fine, but I don't know. I just feel like Toronto just wasn't the ideal place for him to grow anymore. And I feel like going to Sacramento, that is a good that is a good place for him to try and like improve himself as a player because Sacramento's relatively young and they can feed him the ball if because he is a good scorer, so you can just feed him the ball and he can just get to work.
Mm,
For Toronto, that means more minutes for Gary Trent, right? More minutes for Gary Trent now that you don't have another guard taking up those minutes. And I'll always take another second round pick just because we never know what that could amount to. So I gave both teams a B plus.
okay, well, for me, this deal is kind of in a different light. You know, for me, I'd rather keep someone that can produce instead of taking a second round pick. Because frankly, I think Terrence Davis is worth more than a second round pick, and having too much guys in rotation, it's a good problem to have, and I think that's the problem that Sacramento's gonna have. So they have De'Aaron Fox. They just traded for DeLon Wright. They have Buddy Hield and they have Tyrese Halliburton, and now they're kind of like the Raptors 2.0. Yeah, it kind of seems like they have too much guards, and they're gonna. I feel like yeah, they're gonna give him a bit more opportunity to shine, but I just think that the Raptors could have held on to him and kind of developed him a bit more. It's not like he didn't want to be there. He still wanted to, produce and play. Maybe even throw him down to the G League, I guess. I just don't think that he's worth a second round pick at this point.
Worth more than a
Mm,
second round pick. I think we got his worth. I mean, I wasn't sure what else we're not going to get a first rounder for him. You know what I mean?
yeah, we definitely not.
Yeah. So the guy came undrafted and really worked his ass off and made an impression last season. Fortunately, he had all that. I don't know if it was off season or what happened there with his
Of
case.
course.
He caught a case. Yeah. You know, don't catch cases, listeners. But
Thank you.
yeah. So but I feel like that definitely, I don't know. For me, like I said, right, stuff that happens off the court definitely affects your performance on the court. I don't know if that's what had an effect and that's why you couldn't get things going. Nick Nurse had made a lot of comments before, like how these guys just can't defend Pat Thomas and Terrence Davis, and that's why they're not getting the minutes. How
Mm-hmm.
true that was.
Yes.
But I mean, I forgot who said, I forgot which one of you said, like, this trade's just not really that important, or it's indifferent to both teams. They both teams got what they wanted, and I'll give both teams an A just for that reason.
Okay, all right. I say
But
to me it didn't affect me that much, but
yeah,
Austin on
I,
the other
I definitely agree with Austin though. Like in terms of the fact that Terrence definitely what he means by he's not worth a set like he's worth more than a second round pick is that how many second round picks like really
two.
no how many second round picks really come out and play as well as like Terrence did for us, right? Not many. So
Yeah, I just see
he,
too much potential in Terrence Davis.
yeah,
I feel like.
exactly. So it's a shame that we didn't get to see it fully, but hopefully he does well in Sacramento. Again, anywhere a Raptor can go and get more minutes and be able to elevate his career. For it.
Well,
Sure.
speaking of that, let's focus on Matt Thomas. So the Raptors get a future second round pick, and the Jazz get Matt Thomas. Don, your thoughts on this trade?
Matt Thomas, he wasn't played enough with us.
He wasn't
Like
played enough, right?
he played enough. This guy's a shooter. This league's a shooter. Shoot first league. Like I don't know why he wasn't playing enough. Still think Nick Nurse is a great coach, so I won't question it. But like for me, I'm definitely keeping that guy on the court. I mean, there are just times like where things weren't working, our offense wasn't clicking as well as I would like to see. And then, Matt Thomas would come on, just knock down a few buckets, and the whole fan base is going wild. Like, Twitter's exploding. Like, there he is. There's our white boy.
99%.
There he is. Like, yeah, there's our Alex Pinero. He's on the court.
There's Alex.
Alex
Yeah,
Pinero shooting.
Yeah, I know, right?
Alex is an amazing shooter.
Oh gosh, yeah, I know he's knocked down some game winner. But anyways, yeah, just I don't know, Utah. I mean, I just don't see why we're getting rid of a shoot. Like every team needs shooters, so I don't know why we got rid of him. But what do we get for him? A second rounder?
Second round pick.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so we're just into our second round.
I just feel like
Yeah,
on a roster in the NBA, you can afford having one bad defender. And having,
absolutely.
yeah,
Right?
like you've seen teams where, Miami, they made it to the finals with Duncan Robinson, who got targeted every single time when he was on defense. You've seen guys like JJ Redick get played 2019, I think, semifinals against the Raptors, where JJ Redick would just destroy the Raptors, and even though he was a target on defense, it didn't matter. Even Steph Curry, who, yeah, he's a good off-ball defender, he's a bad on-ball defender, and they still played him a lot of minutes. There are guys that if you're able to have that much impact on an offense, it doesn't really matter what your defense is. And I think Matt Thomas could be one of those guys, and especially for Utah, where you rule out a lineup with Mike Conley, Matt Thomas, and then have three good defenders. Like he's able to play 25 plus minutes, and I just don't think Nick Nurse kind of sees that, or maybe that he does, but he just doesn't care.
Well,
I
Nick Nurse
mean,
is a defensive-minded coach. Let's put that in perspective first. He
that's
he wants you to play defense. Like Pat McCaw, let's be honest, he's not that great of an offensive player, but he does show effort on the defensive end, which is why he did get more minutes than other players in the last few years. So
But like a
that's
good
that's
offense
just
beats a
my
good
that's just
defense,
my
Ryan.
opinion. Yeah, but I'm just saying Nick Nurse does have Nick Nurse does believe defense is like the key to everything. So maybe that's why he's not playing Matt Thomas that much.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not Nick Nurse. I wouldn't know.
You're better than Nick Nurse.
I could have sworn you were a Nick Nurse.
Me?
I guess I thought you were.
Nah. But I just want to talk about Utah. I feel like Utah. I addressed this last week, but Utah needed wing defense, not exactly another scorer, but like Steve Kerr once said, you can never have enough shooting. So it's not necessarily a bad deal, but I think Utah should have targeted a wing defender, more than another shooter. That's just my thoughts, though.
I mean, how much of those were there on the market even? A 3-and-D defender.
I don't know, but like
I just feel like
they
if
could have.
you give up a second round pick,
You did say Isaac Bonga last week, so that could have worked
sure,
out.
Isaac Bonga should have gone to a contender. But listen, if you're just giving up a second round pick, I guess it doesn't hurt. You're getting a good player in return, so might as well just pull the trigger.
Yeah. So what's next?
What came after 12:52 p.m. or?
Oh no,
what's
we're
next?
going back. I just want to hit on the Raptors just because Ryan mentioned it. So let's go back to 10:06 a.m. We briefly touched on this. This is the Cleveland Cavaliers trading JaVale McGee to the Denver Nuggets. In return, they have Isaiah Hartenstein and 2 protected second round picks.
It's a great trade for the Cavs. Give them an A for that because JaVale's hardly playing. And they get a young prospect and 2 second rounders for someone who most likely was not staying in Cleveland after the season. So, I mean, they got 3 assets for free.
Pretty much,
And,
yeah.
So that's why I give them an A, maybe an A plus. I just think it was a great trade for them. And the Nuggets, like I mentioned earlier, they got bigger. So, not really sure what they see in McGee. Not sure where he fits.
I think it's the championship experience. You do need that.
Yeah, for sure. maybe McGee's gonna leak some Lakers plays to them and give them some
Probably.
ideas, get past them. I don't know, but yeah, Nuggets. I give them a B plus. It's a good trade for both sides. I think it's one of the
Yeah,
quieter but better trades for both. I think.
yeah, I agree with Don. I agree with Don. I
Damn
gave,
straight.
yeah, I gave a, I did give a B, it's just a flat B for Denver, just because I think it's just mainly for the championship experience, and the Mason Plumlee free agency leaving for Detroit last season, it did hurt a little bit, so I think that's why McGee's in for Denver.
Yeah, I mean, I gave the Cavs a 9 out of 10. Like Don said, they got three assets for basically someone that wasn't going to play. But for Denver, I gave them a 7 out of 10. I think McGee does offer some decent sides. Of course, Jokic, he's not the greatest defender. And, McGee might not be either, but he's still taller. He's lankier. He's shown his ability to block shots, and he's athletic big. And, it's better than having Isaiah Hartenstein backing Jokic up because Hartenstein is kind of like Jokic, where he's an offensive minded center. I guess if you get someone that can back up Jokic, that can play big and hopefully defend bigs and stay with them on the perimeter, it helps. So
Mhm.
I think both teams won the trade. Definitely a good trade for both sides.
Yes, let's move on.
All right, let's move on. 12:26 p.m. The Washington Wizards. So this is a three-team trade. So let me just lay it out because it's hard for me to go from team to team. Washington Wizards got Daniel Gafford and Chandler Hutchinson. Chicago Bulls get Daniel Tice, Troy Brown Jr., and $1.5 million. And the Boston Celtics get Moritz Wagner and Luke Cornett.
Yeah, Ryan, this one's all you.
Yes, all
All
you
right.
prizes. You love three-team trades, so this is all you,
I'm
man.
not into two-team trades. No.
I just like doing like trade simulations, but sure, I'll give it a shot. B plus for the Bulls. Daniel Tice worked very well in Boston because it was a Brad Stevens system developed for him. He is an undersized big, so I don't know how well he'll play like in Chicago, considering he is there are other bigs like Vucevic, Thad Young, Markkinen, all in the front court. But who knows? Maybe that Tice will be a force there. Javante Green's just served for depth, and Troy Brown is promising and can be a good bench piece for them. So B plus for the Bulls. For Celtics, Mo Wagner, decent bench piece. Although I don't think he'll be a force on the rebounding end, which is what Boston does need. Luke Cornett, good depth, so I gave it a B. And the Wizards, Chandler Hutchinson and Daniel Gafford, both pretty young, good pieces for the next few years. Not immediate helpers, so I give it a B minus. I don't know what they'll develop into, but it might be a pretty good deal in the future.
Yeah, I give the Bulls a 7. I give the Wizards a 7. They both kind of got what they needed. Daniel Tice is a really, really good backup center, and I just want to mention for the Celtics, I give them a 1 out of 10. Like this is below F. Daniel Tice was their starting center, and he was a good starting center even in the playoffs. And the only reason that he wasn't really kind of seen as that good is because he wasn't shooting the ball well. You said that the Celtics needed a good rebounder. He was their good rebounder, and I think he's one of the better centers in the East. And I just don't think Mo Wagner and Luke Cornett's a good return for someone like Daniel Tice. I don't know what the Celtics are doing. I guess they want to run Tristan Thompson at the five. Like it just makes no sense. Maybe Rob Williams some more minutes. I don't see what the
Taco
Celtics are
Fall.
doing. Taco Fall maybe. Yeah, get him playing.
Oh, right.
I I just
Pick
don't
him up
think.
on your fantasy right now if you don't already have him, folks. That's a live one.
Yeah, you should have drafted him. Why is he on the
You should have
waivers?
drafted him. Why would you have to pick him up, right?
Yeah. But Daniel Tice, it makes no sense to trade your starting center for two like bench players. I think Mo Wagner and Luke Cornett are both like G League type players. Trading your starting center for that, it makes no sense for me.
Oh, you're real low on them.
They're trash, man. They play for the Wizards.
Oh, oh wow, that's this, but okay. That's this.
How about you, Don? Do
Any
you
more
have
thoughts?
no thoughts about this trade?
No, I just I definitely agree with you in terms of like Daniel is definitely a great player, and that I didn't realize. I mean, I should have realized that it was the Brad Stevens system that he was thriving in, but like he was killing us last year, the
I know.
Raptors. I say us as in the Raptors, and like I don't know, for some reason Nurse just couldn't adjust. We were just I don't know, I couldn't understand it, but he was just open every single play, just getting easy the easiest buckets.
Easy buckets for
And great size, man. Like I like him. I think he's a good player. I don't know. I didn't realize, to be honest, I didn't realize this trade happened. And I'm like right now I'm thinking, damn, like Boston just sort of they picked up Evan Fournier, but they shot themselves in the foot with this one. Like I don't get it. So
I guess they're hoping. I guess they're hoping Fournier can play small ball center.
I see what he means by like
Small ball.
the low and F with the 1 out of 10. But like, yo, Tristan Thompson, he is he's an NBA champion. He is an
But that's
NBA
it.
champion.
That's it. Like that's so many years ago. We don't know if he can produce at the same level anymore. It's risky.
Yeah,
All
I don't know
right.
what the Celtics are doing there.
Austin, we didn't talk about your 76ers yet.
True. Let's go to that right now. 12:46
Yes, let's
p.m.
go to that right now.
This is
The
also
Right now.
The losers of the trading deadline. Let's go.
okay. Philadelphia losers.
I would say they were the second worst team in the deadline.
Really? You think so?
Yes.
I thought George Hill was a pretty good.
I think they got one of the best returns here.
They got
Okay.
the best light.
You
They
know
got the
what,
best light skin in the league.
True. I mean, other than Danny Green and Daune Fernandez, I mean, you pretty much got the next best guy in George Hill.
That's it. That's true. But I mean, they really should have put all their chips in for that booty in Lowry.
True.
And
That is true.
you know, they really wanted to go for it, if they're really trying to come out,
They really would have done the Lowry trade.
They needed to do the Lowry trade. But definitely George Hill's a great pickup for them.
I mean,
Definitely
let's not talk about what could have happened. Let's talk about what did happen. So, let's
I'll only speak on the 76ers for this trade and the fact that they definitely did improve. They improved for sure. I'm just saying that they're the losers because they needed, I don't know, they needed, I felt like they needed Lowry, or they should have gotten Fournier, or I don't know. George Hill, great defender, excellent defender, and he could shoot threes. And that's a team that definitely needs shooting, especially because people are too afraid to shoot threes on that team. So George Hill could definitely come in.
Okay, dude. More Simmons slander? Are you serious?
Almost everyone slandered Simmons on the
I
show.
know. Everyone on the pod.
No, Ben Simmons is a true G. He just should have held on to said Kendall Jenner. But anyways, let's continue on. Let's no, I got love for Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is a great player. It sort of speaks to how good he was. How good that he is that Philly wouldn't let him off, because I'm not sure what pieces the Raptors were asking for in return that this deal couldn't get done. I'm sure the Sixers would have given up a first rounder and maybe one piece, but definitely not Simmons. But yeah, Sixers improved, but I just felt like they came up short. They needed to get Lowry.
Hey man, since we're on the topic of Lowry, we might as well just go over this. So I think their asking price was Tyrese Maxey, Matisse Thybulle, and 2 first-round picks. I don't think
that's ridiculous.
You think that's ridiculous? I think I would do that.
I thought that was very reasonable. I found that very reasonable.
2 first rounders, Matisse Thybulle, and who was the last one?
Tyrese Maxey.
Okay.
I mean, think about this. Like, Lowry, of course, he's 35, but he is like one of the best point guards you would want on your team in the playoffs. You've seen it.
Point guards in the league.
Yeah, time and time again. So I think that, yeah, you're losing 2 first-round picks. You still have Simmons and Embiid. Those first-round picks don't really mean too much. Tyrese Maxey, he's shown flashes. A lot of guys have shown flashes. He might end up not being that great of a player. And then you're giving Matisse Thybulle, who, yeah, he's one of the best defenders in the league. He locks up your favorite player like on a night-to-night basis. He still has no offensive game. He's still a project. So I think losing those guys and 2 picks, it doesn't really matter when you're getting the caliber of player like Lowry.
Mm-hmm. Perhaps Morey's thinking is that he could get Lowry for free in free agency.
In the offseason.
That's true.
Yeah, to return. And maybe this year, just maybe they could hold off for one more year. But I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that's tough.
I can see Lowry going to going to Philly, because that is his hometown. So
for sure.
Yeah, we'll see when the free agency episode comes along.
Yeah. So let's go over this trade. I was about to go over it, and then we got into Lowry. So this three-team trade involves OKC, Philadelphia, and the New York Knicks. So OKC gets Tony Bradley from the Sixers, Austin Rivers from the Knicks, and they get two second-round picks. They gave up George Hill to the 76ers, and the 76ers also got Ignas Brazdeikis from the Knicks, and New
I don't
York
even
just got
know
Terrence
about
Ferguson.
it.
So, any thoughts about this trade? Any winners, losers? Don mentioned that Philadelphia were losers, so
I'm just saying, if the Thunder get draft picks, that's a win.
that's true.
If the Thunder can draft Ethan, that's a win. That's all it is.
That's all it is. No, I didn't say the Sixers are losers in this trade. I said they're the losers in the trade deadline because they didn't get what they needed to get
Oh,
to,
okay, okay.
to go further. They definitely got a good piece here at George Hill. No George Hill slander, no Benson, no Sixer slander at all. They're a great team,
Thank you.
but
No Simmons
they just
slander. Finally.
yeah, no Sixer slander, absolutely not, man. Anyone that can pull Kendall is good in my books. But the thing is, they needed that true point guard to take them, to really
Over
just
the top, right?
yeah, a true natural point guard.
I
But yeah,
feel like I don't know about you guys, but I feel like Austin Rivers will be waived and he's going to sign with Philly to be with his dad. So I don't know. I just have a feeling, like gut feeling.
No way, dude. I don't think he wants to play for his dad again. He's already played
No,
with him in
I
LA.
have that gut feel. I have that gut feeling though. So
You have that good feeling? Okay.
yeah, I have that gut feeling right now.
You
So
know, I'll
I don't
give
know.
my
Maybe
take on this trade real quick. So OKC gets Tony Bradley, Austin Rivers, and two second-round picks. Ryan mentioned the second-round picks. Of course, that's great. That's what you want if you're OKC. Austin Rivers, he's good enough to kind of stay on the roster. Veteran presence. And Tony Bradley's also one of those other. They have like another big that's promising. So they have Isaiah Roby. Now they have Moses Brown, and then they get Tony
Moses
Bradley.
Brown.
Yo, Moses Could. That's my boy.
Moses is nasty in fantasy.
He
Seen
is.
this
He
guy?
is. And he's on my team. So Ryan, you
I know.
wanted him. I said. I
I
said
tried
no.
trading him for yesterday. You said
Yeah,
no, so
you tried trading me like I don't know LeBron and something for Moses. I was like, nah, man. I can't be trading Moses like that. That's not enough. But Tony Bradley,
Ryan makes
yeah.
some great trades. Sorry,
What?
go ahead. Yeah,
No,
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 go
no.
ahead.
Go ahead, though. You're the guest. Go
No, I just wanted to say that Ryan makes some great trades on fantasy, so I'm a little surprised he didn't
ahead.
accept a trade he would offer. It's just a little surprising to me. But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I mentioned okay. I think OKC wins this one. I gave them an 8 out of 10. They got what they wanted. Philadelphia, I think they're the only tens. The only 10 out of 10 I gave. George Hill,
Oh,
yeah. I mean, George Hill, you kind of want a point guard. So yeah, they have Ben Simmons, but he doesn't really run the offense per se. He kind of passes it off in the half court and then sits in the dunker spot. And I think George Hill can be the one that runs the pick and roll and does a lot of
Mhm.
things that a point guard should be doing. And then New York, Terrence Ferguson, I mean, they kind of just threw away Austin Rivers for no reason. So I give him a 4 out of 10. You're getting someone that you're probably going to waive either way. So I think Philadelphia just kind of won this trade. Philadelphia and OKC both won this trade.
Yep, agreed.
and the 76ers, they got 10 out of 10, right? Seems like
Yeah.
everyone won this trade. Oh,
Not New York. I said New York got like a 4 out of 10.
oh, sorry. Pardon
Yeah.
me.
You got to
Yeah,
listen to that bold man.
New York got draft picks, but they are trying to go for the playoff spot. So yeah, they didn't really win that trade at all.
Exactly. I mean, Austin Rivers is like the ultimate win now player. Scores and
Also,
puts up numbers.
even though he fell out of the rotation, but it's whatever.
I mean, he's better than Terrence Ferguson.
Yes, that's for sure. As of right now, though, but we never know.
Yeah,
All right.
so,
Next trade, I want to cover the Clippers getting Rajon Rondo
yep,
and the
that's nothing.
Hawks getting Lou Williams and two future second rounds. I want to quickly point out. I'm just gonna go first for this one because Lou Will said he would retire if he was traded, but he's not. So I feel like if he did retire, Atlanta would have lost trade easy. But considering he is still playing, I say Atlanta wins the trade.
Yeah, I feel like, if Lou Will got traded to, let's say, like, I don't know, Detroit, he would have retired. Because, like, who
Oh,
wants
he
to
would
go
have
to
retired for
Detroit?
sure.
In Atlanta, like, he got strip clubs, he's got places to eat, he got things to do there. So I feel like Lou Will kind of, he had second thoughts about Atlanta. He was like, hold up, Atlanta's actually a good city. So he
That's
chose to
right.
stay. And, for Rajon Rondo, I don't think Atlanta, they weren't even playing him that much regardless. So even if Lou Will retired, 2 second round picks is it's fine. Like I still would say they lost a trade, but it's not like it's like they traded a first round pick for him. It's just 2 second round picks and it's Rajon Rondo. So I feel like both teams, yeah, they did win the trade. Clippers finally get the point guard they needed, and
And
like
playoff Rondo's a different, just built different.
that's what
So
I'm saying.
that's
And he
that's
can tell
that's a
the
dub too.
Clippers
That's a dub.
that's a dub. The playoff Rondo, and then he can tell
It's
you all the
it's
Lakers plays. Like that's definitely a win for the Clippers.
it's crazy. Yeah.
Huge win for the Clippers. Huge win. Um, they needed they needed a point guard, a reliable one. Kawhi does not want to play point guard. I'm sure he doesn't. It's not his style to like bring up the ball and run the
Yeah.
offense. Um, and like you guys said, playoff Rondo when he comes, he's not like you don't see him like putting up numbers right now, but when it comes playoff time, he's definitely gonna put the Clippers up there. He's a champion, 2-time champion. Definitely, he was probably the third best player on the Lakers last year when they
I
won.
agree. Agreed.
So this is huge, and the fact that they likely will go up. I mean, I'm not sure how the standings look right now, but if they do go up against the Lakers, having Rondo is just like a huge benefit.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Um,
And
yeah.
but
Both,
having
both
Rondo's like a
teams.
second coach. Having
Yeah.
Rondo's a
True,
second
true.
coach. So yeah,
So
I think LA, even though to me they didn't win the trade with Atlanta, they did get what they need, and it's going to prove useful in the long run. Yeah.
for sure.
All right, so let's move on to 3:05 p.m. This is Golden State Warriors trading Brad Wanamaker to the Charlotte Hornets for a second round pick. I know it's a big trade. There's a lot of things to unpack here.
Did
So
they get the second round pick?
This trade happened.
yeah, they got a second round pick. Yeah, so
I thought they only got cash. I really thought they only got cash.
really I read that they got a second round pick. Maybe I mean it doesn't matter. Brad Wanamaker he's a big asset. So any of these any second round pick cash pretty much mean the same thing. So what are your thoughts about this trade? Brad Wanamaker, great player.
Well, he's been in and out of the rotation, but he was actually pretty good last year with the Celtics. He kept torching threes on us during the semis. But I like it for the Hornets because Lamelo is out, and we don't know how long he's going to be out for. Maybe he'll come back. Maybe he's out for the rest of the season. But if Charlotte intends to make a playoff push, Wanamaker is going to be a big piece for them. And the Warriors free up a roster space for maybe a potential free agent and to get money and or a draft pick. So I like it for both ways.
I agree with everything you said there. Yeah, definitely.
You just didn't know what was happening, Don.
Just I didn't know.
You just did not know what was happening.
I don't think even knows who that is.
Austin said 3:05, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, so we're done." Like
Oh yeah, true.
deadline
Yeah,
at 3. Like I thought he was trolling right now, but
no, these tweets kind of came late, but I guess Woj just kind of stretching it.
Yo, Woj
he
was
has,
lacking a little.
he has a distinct face. Was he on the he was on the Warriors, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he was on the Warriors.
All right, so I knew
So
that.
yeah, definitely
Go
not
ahead,
a lot
Austin.
to.
What do you think?
Yeah. What?
What did you think about this trade?
I mean, listen, it's Brad Wanamaker. Like he's kind of like one of those end of the bench guys. So I think the Warriors kind of won this trade, second round pick for Brad Wanamaker. Didn't really play. Charlotte getting Brad Wanamaker, decent guard to fill up Melo's minutes. Yeah, it's a win on both sides, but not the biggest win.
And the other Warriors trade wasn't a big one either. Sending Marquise Chris for what is it, Katie
Katie
Lalonde.
Lalonde, my boy, drafted in the 2015 draft. Yeah, that
Oh, he was
was.
from 2015.
Yeah, he wasn't like he doesn't even play anymore. He plays for like China or something. He plays in like
Oh,
the CBA.
it's draft rights. I swear that it's draft rights.
Literally, that was it. I give the Spurs 8 because they got a player. They
No,
they actually got a player.
they got to play. No, I gave Warriors an A as I gave Warriors an A because they cut their luxury tax bill.
Oh,
Because
really? Oh,
yes, they cut their luxury tax bill, and another roster spot is filled. So maybe Jeremy Lin,
oh, you're right.
return to the Bay Area now that they don't have Brad Wanamaker. They could use another point guard, and Lin or even Thomas. Really, they've been pretty well. They played pretty well in the G League. Well, Thomas didn't, but Lin played pretty well in the G League this season. So I would say bring Linsanity back to San
Wait,
Francisco.
who's Thomas?
Isaiah Thomas.
He's in the G League?
No, he wasn't. I said he wasn't, but
Oh, I was like,
I,
oh,
I
who's
was a
this Thomas
preaching kid.
guy?
My bad, I wasn't clear.
No, it's okay. So, do you guys want to move
Uh,
on to, I'll say the
What is the
second
biggest?
biggest name?
the second biggest name. All right.
All right, so this is 3:08 p.m. Yes, it's past the deadline, but just bear with me. This is Victor Oladipo traded to the Miami Heat. In return, the Houston Rockets got Avery Bradley, Kelly Olynyk, and a first round pick swap. So let's get your thoughts on this. Don, let's hear you go first.
I thought this trade was great for the Miami Heat. Obviously, they get what they were looking for. They couldn't get Lowry done, but they got Oladipo without having to give up any of the real pieces that the Raptors were asking for, at least through the rumors or through the sources. The Raptors are asking for, I believe, at least a first rounder in Tyler Hero or a combination of Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. Um, so, for the Heat to be able to keep both of these shooters and add a point guard, uh, big kudos to them. Give them a big A. Um, the Rockets,
Only an
however, what's that?
A? Only an A?
Only an A? Yeah, well, the thing is, if they got Lowry, it's an A plus. Oladipo, it's an A. So that's how I'm ranking it here, right? Because you have to,
Okay, all right.
you have to scale it because we don't know if we still don't know if Oladipo, like right now, he's not. Lowry's an all.
Oladipo was playing pretty well. No, Oladipo was playing pretty well. He just wasn't winning. He was playing 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists on the season. That's actually pretty decent. And they only got him for like Avery Bradley. Really, I think that's a big A plus.
And Kelly Olynyk. So
Well,
he's
Kelly Olynyk's a free agent at the end of the season.
but but no, I guess you're right. I guess you are right. Yeah, that is true. My thing with it going, yeah, you know what? We could bump it up to an A plus. You're right. You gave some good supporting
Yeah,
arguments. Right? The thing is, Oladipo's still not like what he
he
was.
was. What he was. Indiana,
Maybe he's just in the wrong system or in a different system. He needs some consistency,
maybe.
keeping
But he's
healthy.
still an amazing player.
Yeah, for sure. However, the Rockets, simply because of the fact that they got rid of Oladipo, it's
For
like,
nothing.
yeah, it's like essentially that
Um,
means that they got rid of Levert for nothing. Plus, they gave a second rounder for Levert. So it's like, what was the point of this whole thing? Like, I don't know. The Rockets seemed like there's definitely something wrong in Houston because
Houston, we've got a problem.
yeah, like there's a reason why I guess Oladipo wouldn't commit to resigning. Um, doesn't want to stay there long term. Even after the deadline, they were talking about like John Wall potentially being bought out. Like, what was that report about? I don't know. Or it was denied at least that he was getting bought out. So like, I don't know what the whole situation there is in Houston. Um, maybe we shouldn't have. I mean, I don't know if there was James Harden slander on this pod, but like maybe he had his reasons now for wanting to get out because it just seems like they don't really know what they're doing. And so for that reason, I'm giving them D minus and F. At least
I
they
give it
got
an F. It's an
yeah,
F.
they got
And
something for
0 out of 10.
Oladipo at the minimum. But damn, like how does Pat Riley just do it and get what he needs to make his team better? Like just that's it's just pretty sick. The Miami Heat are definitely some people to contend in.
The Heat are just built different.
Probably might be favorites behind the Nets to come out of the East. I think so, right? It has to be Miami after the Nets.
Yeah, I think I'll give it to the Nets. I don't think Ryan's gonna like that because Ryan has the Bucks making it out the East.
Yeah, I
Whoa,
do have the
whoa,
Bucks
what?
making
Oh, gee.
it
Oh my lord.
out.
What are you talking? 76ers have a better chance than the Bucks at this point. Come on.
Okay, okay, but that was before like the George Hill trade. George Hill just pushes everything, like you know, to a
Yeah.
whole nother level.
In
Because
fairness,
George,
the Bucks didn't have any like assets really to to
like what
get.
the I thought I thought if the roster stayed the same, the Bucks would have like one of the best chances to make it, just
Yeah.
because uh Giannis is so dominant. Like even now, Chris Middleton, he was playing at an all-star level even though he didn't make the team. Drew Holiday still an amazing contributor on both ends of the floor. They got PJ Tucker, which was not it was good, but it wasn't anything game changing. So, but now the 76ers got George Hill. I feel like that might be the piece that they're missing. Yeah,
So you both gave the Rockets enough for this trade
yeah,
and
it's an F for Houston.
Miami.
A plus for Miami, F for Houston.
Yes, 7. But wait, we were talking about the Eastern Conference playoffs real quick. I just wanna ask you guys who's like your favorites to making out these. I know Don, you said the Nets and then Miami. So who's next on your list?
After the Nets in Miami.
Yeah.
I don't think it's relevant after that. Do you just are you just trying to bait me into saying the Sixers? Is that because
Yeah,
you
like
heard?
you don't think the
Is it
Sixers have
because
a chance?
I feel like you overheard me say the Sixers are next. So
Yeah, I
I think
mean,
that's what you're trying to get out of
You
me
want
here.
to
you're
you
talking
want to
about the
prove.
Bucks, and then you're talking about the Sixers. I just want to know like where you rank
It's
them.
pretty. It is pretty crazy that I'm going with two teams that are not even in the top two right now. I
You
mean, the
go with the
Nets are
Celtics Pacers.
Celtics Pacers. What's that?
Wait, oh, I thought you were gonna mention them.
No. I'm going with the
Oh
Nets and the
no.
Heat. Like I'm saying, the Nets are third and the Heat are seventh, and I'm picking like the Heat don't even have a winning record right now. They're below 500, but I'm picking them as second
Favorites,
the
second
second
favorite.
team to come out. Right. Um, I mean, dare I say, I would love for the Knicks to come out of the East.
Oh my
That
God,
would be
Madison
amazing. Like,
Square Garden.
that would just be love. I hate James Dolan and I hate the ownership and everything, but I love the Knicks and what they got going on right now. Like Thibodeau is doing an amazing job
Yes,
and the
sir.
roster. Like Julius Randle is putting up numbers for me in my fantasy, like the real fantasy, the league that uses Yahoo Fantasy.
Oh
So
man.
Julius Randle is just like a stud, and yeah, I like the culture there on the team. But yeah, I would probably go. I would probably take the 76ers. I don't believe in the Bucks. I don't
You hear
believe in
that,
them.
Ryan?
Yeah. I'll take
76ers
the
are better than the
76ers.
Bucks, Ryan. That's all I wanted to hear.
We'll see. We'll
I
see.
knew you were pitching for something.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
All right, so let's round this trade deadline off with it's one more trade left. 3:25 p.m. The New Orleans Pelicans trade J.J. Redick and Nicolo Melli to the Dallas Mavericks for Wesley Iwundu, James Johnson, and one second round pick.
James Johnson? What? He's still in the league.
X Raptor. It's an X Raptor.
I know. I didn't know he's still playing.
So yeah. Austin, you want to start this one off?
Yeah, I think Dallas won this trade. They got a shooter, J.J. Redick. He's a serviceable player. He plays more than James Johnson and Wesley Iwundu. And they also got Nicolo Melli, who's also a good shooter, but this time at the forward position. So I just feel like they just added more shooting in return for kind of bench players in a second round pick. So I give Dallas an 8 out of 10 and New Orleans a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, for sure. I gave pretty much the same scores. I gave Dallas an A minus, and I gave New Orleans a B minus. I just feel like Johnson can still uh, do something on the defensive end. Not much anymore, but he can still teach Zion, I guess.
Teach him how to fight? What is he going to teach him?
Lost the guard, but it had to be done for shooting.
This league's soft. They don't need bodyguards. They're okay. They're
Oh,
okay.
you think the league's soft?
That thing, oh man.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think the Mavs definitely. I wouldn't say New Orleans lost this trade, but the Mavs definitely come out. Obviously, they have the best player in this trade, and then they need that shooter. That's like we said, could use as like Austin was giving that example, right? You don't have to be a good defender, but as long as you have some shooters on your team, space off the floor, it changes the whole momentum. That 3-point shot, like if you knock 2-3 in a row. JJ Redick's obviously one of the best shooters, greatest shooters ever in the league, and one of the best right now. So definitely like it for the Mavericks. I'm excited to see that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I would give the same grades you guys gave, although I didn't even care for this trade. Anything after 3 p.m.
He
That's
just said no. He just said
that's
no.
after hours, right? That's after hours.
Yeah, I didn't want to work overtime.
Lowry stays. That's it. Done. That's
Yes,
it.
Lowry stays.
Stay.
And that
So
wraps up. Yeah, that
wraps
wraps
it up.
up.
But like, just in summary, I guess it's my turn to host as the guest here. Who would you guys say are the ultimate winners and the ultimate losers if you just had to pick two teams? Ultimate winners of the deadline and ultimate losers.
Ultimate winner, I think the Heat. They get that that piece they wanted all along. Awesome.
Yeah, I would also take the Heat, but for losers, I would give it to Boston. Yeah, they got Fournier, but you lost your starting center for nothing, and I just think that that's gonna hurt more than they think in the playoffs.
True. Yeah, for me, ultimate winners. I'm gonna go back to how we started the segment, talking about the Aaron Gordon trade and everything. I think Denver definitely were the winners because they addressed size and they addressed pieces that they needed to compete in the West. And ultimate losers is the team that didn't do anything. The Lakers were definitely the losers in this deadline. They definitely needed. We didn't even talk about them at all, but they needed something to supplement,
They,
like to
they
get
needed
better.
another scoring option. I had Victor Oladipo going to Lakers last, like my predictions, but that didn't happen at all.
I mean, they could have
Yeah,
even picked up someone like George Hill or Rajon Rondo. I mean, a second round pick in
And
Lou
that could
Williams.
have been a huge difference, but LA sadly didn't do anything
didn't do
to
anything, and with question marks around LeBron, and LeBron's gonna be fine, but like with question marks of not knowing
AD.
whether 80 is gonna be 100 or even
Yeah,
80%, it doesn't look good for them.
it's iffy. It's very iffy right now.
When we're looking at Utah got better with not really. Whatever. Okay, but we're looking at Denver got better. We're looking at the Clippers got better. Even the Mavericks got better. It's like, what did LA do? Like, I don't.
Nothing really. LA is really just waiting for Drummond really by this point.
Why the
Oh,
Magic had it too.
oh, good point. Good point. That's
Yeah, LA
absolutely.
is really just waiting for Aldridge and Drummond to come crawling to them.
I heard
So
Aldridge is going to the Heat
the Heat.
as a
Yeah,
front
I heard that
runners.
too. I heard that too. Yeah,
If he goes to the Heat, then the Heat are gonna be really sad because having Aldridge as a backup big, I mean that's huge.
that's crazy. That's crazy. I'd love to see him go to Portland, but the Heat would be well, not instant, but like top title contenders.
I mean they won't be better than the Sixers. Let's get that straight. But they'll definitely be contenders.
They will be much better.
Dude, listen, you won't be
Much
saying that when Jimmy
better.
Butler's getting locked up by Ben Simmons. Why are you laughing? Listen, if you get the ball out of Butler's hands, who's shooting the ball? Like who's
I
out there
love it.
shooting the ball? Hero? You got Hero shooting the ball?
I
Yeah,
love it.
Robinson, Duncan.
Robinson's gonna get
No,
clamped up by Danny Green.
You still got Dragic.
Jokic is getting clamped up by George Hill.
Oh my lord.
Nobody's open on that team. Listen. Defense does win championships, okay? And Philly
Defense
has the best
wins.
defense in the league. That's it.
You know what? You know what? We'll see when playoff team comes around.
Nah, again,
We'll
no one's
see.
gonna argue it because he knows it's true. You know, it's fine. It's fine.
Alright.
We'll make a wager after the show.
Dude, you and wagers, dude. Can you get your mind off gambling? Like, like please, dude.
We'll make a wager. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I think with that wraps up our show this week. Don, you want an outro for us?
This is Danny Green. Knock it out. Floor General Podcast. Thanks, guys, for having me. I appreciate it. Had a lot of fun. And I don't know. How do you do these outros?
Just do it.
Someone
Just say
outro.
bye. Just say bye.
Someone outro.
Just say bye.
All right. You've been listening to the Floor Generals on whatever platform you're listening to us on. My name is Danny Green, signing off for Austin and Ryan, who we'll see you on next week's episode. Thank you. Peace.